And last we started looking at data collection methods. And the first two that we actually look at, three of them, we look at the qualitative data collection methods. Those who were here. And I think I'll get time to take our colleagues through. And then when we are done with that, we started with quantitative data collection methods. So we started looking at surveys and questionnaire. So for that, I'll just recap the survey, then we'll look at the questionnaires. For our colleagues who are regular students, I'll get time to take them through the qualitative data collection methods that have to do with observations, interviews, and focus group discussions. So we'll have time to look at all of that. But even before I continue, if you have any question, please ask. Let's resolve that before we continue. If you have any question, but if you don't have any question, then I can continue.
Yeah, I don't have any question. We can continue.
Okay. So we are looking at basically quantitative methods of data collection. You know, after you have set up your research topic, I'm sure you have gathered your research topics and you have written the background and problem statement for me.
Yes,
Not
sir.
what? I want them all.
Not yet.
Why?
Partially, sir. We should copy them. We should do it soft copy.
Yes, I think.
Sir, do you need it soft?
No, what we are going to do is the next meeting we'll look at promotion. The next one that will meet, probably that will be Monday. We are going to do individual presentations on the research. I'll allow people to share their screens and present.
Soft copy or hard copy?
I say you are going to do presentation. Asking me soft copy or hard copy.
No, I mean when you give us in the class, I did it a hard copy. So then I have to start that.
So if I tell you that you are coming to do presentation, what are you supposed to do? So you are going to do presentation. That will be our next, I think, Monday meeting. Thursday we'll look at promotion. So next meeting we'll look at what? The presentation. Individuals will present on their topics. Tell us the background and the problem statement. Already we have done objectives and questions last semester. So those ones automatically add them. And we'll do that only 5 minutes each. So for that, next week, Monday, we'll meet from 6 to 9. It's full of presentation. I'm not going to teach. So you are going to present your topics, your introduction, problem statements, research objectives and research questions. And finally, look at the justification where you are conducting that research. That's eventually sum up the introductory part of the research. That is chapter 1. So I want to see what we have been reading so far. Then after that, when we are satisfied with the research topics and objectives, then we can introduce the literature review so that people can actually understand how these things are done before you get to level 400. Somebody is writing, people are writing proposal and they'll go and copy from others and come and give to you that this is my proposal. Have you seen proposal that have a, how do you call it? Acknowledgement, dedication, abstract. Have you seen proposal like that before? But that's kind of proposal I'm seeing these days. So I want us to go through this, and I'm sure Monday will do that. So people who are not conversant with this, they also learn from their colleagues. So I'll just start randomly. I'll mention anybody I thought to start. I'll allow you the system to upload. I'll just allow the system for any individual to share the slides. So that's what we are coming to do on Monday, hopefully. Unless something happened that we have changed our mind. But if nothing, that's what we are going to do. Why are you laughing? You want something to happen? So that
something will happen. Don't worry.
Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. If I pray that something should happen.
Hello, sir.
I'm
working on it so that rain will fall. Help.
Even if the rain fall, we are not meeting physically. Wherever you are, you project.
Hello, sir.
Network.
Yeah.
The network will
Hello,
work.
sir.
Have a good network. Yes.
Network.
How about we have challenges with our network?
We'll ratify that. Okay.
Please, one concern. Some of us, where we are, we don't have access to the computer, so we use our phones to connect to the lecture. So sharing of slide would have been a bit of a difficulty.
There is option on the phone that you can project. So ask those who how to do the.
You said there's option on the phone.
Yeah, there's option on the phone that you can project. There's an option there, so you can do it. Yes. So that is not
okay. If only the network is.
BBC.
Now that I resolved that, you are back to network. Network will be fine.
We are praying that you'll be fine.
Please, don't run away from the class because of what I'm saying. The way people are trying to find excuse to miss this class, please let everybody come to the class. In fact, I'll not put that again.
Yes, you're not coming.
People are wow. So let's continue. Let's look at. I already said that we already look at the qualitative.
God bless you for changing your mind. Before you continue, God
that is not final.
Bless you for changing your mind. So
finality. I've not changed my mind totally.
So yes, but by the time you finish, you will change. No problem.
I hear.
Okay, let's push it.
Okay. So last we actually look at the qualitative methods of data collection, which we actually look at observation. And we also talk about types of observation, structured and unstructured, where we also have participants observation, non-participant observation, disguised observation and all that. And then areas and environment where this can be used. And beyond that, we also look at interviews. We look at the in-depth interviews where you interview people into detail of issues. And then we also talk about the key informal interview, people who are knowledgeable in the area. And these are the people who actually lead the discussion because they know they are going to tell you more. And then you listen to whatever they are saying, take your records and write your report. And then beyond that, we also spoke about focus group discussion, where we said that it's normally used if you want to collect data from community members. But however, we also say that you must ensure that the characteristics of the people are somehow homogeneous. In a sense that if you put a cleaner, nurse, doctor together, you're asking questions, some of them will feel inferior to speak. So you must look at the standard socioeconomic status most of the time when you are putting these people together. When you are putting nurses, midwives, doctors, pharmacists together, it's not that a big deal. However, when you admit cleaners, security, and other individual at the lower rank, it becomes difficult for them to voice out. They may have very important suggestions. In fact, you cannot underrate any of them. They are in the world all the time. They even know better than the doctors and nurses in some cases. I'm not saying that is the case. In some areas. However, because of their status, they are not likely to talk when you put them together. So that's an issue that you also have to look at when you are doing focus group discussion. And we said that between 6 and 12 or 10 people are put together and then questions are thrown to them. They sit in horseshoe formation, that is semicircle. And then you sit in front of them, throw out the question one after the other, they all respond to it. And we also said that it consumes a lot of time because by the time 6 or 8 people finish answering one question, time is what? Far spent. And we look at the advantages of the focus group discussion and also disadvantages. And we started with the quantitative, we also look at the survey, but because of our colleagues, we want to look at that and then we move on from here. So the survey as part of the quantitative data collection is also a document that is designed to obtain information about prevalence, distribution, and interrelation of variables in the population. And last time I was telling you about prevalence. What did I say about prevalence? Our mature student, our weekend student. Last I spoke about prevalence. What did I say about it? What did I say? What did I say about prevalence last time when we met? Prevalence. What did I say about it? Achu? What did I say about prevalence? Esther, what did I say about prevalence? Evans, what did I say about prevalence? Evans Amevi, I know you were here when I was talking about it. The Chancellor Koshiga, what did I say about prevalence last time when we met? Solomon, Adai, what did I say about prevalence last time we met? You are not here.
No.
Nick, what did I say about prevalence? Okay, he told me the place where he is noisy, so.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What I can remember, what I can remember you said the other day is the rate, prevalence is the rate at which a condition is happening. Let's say a disease is happening within a certain population. The rate at which a certain occurrence is happening at a particular place.
Is that what I said?
That's what I can remember, please.
Okay. Who can remember exactly what I said? If you don't remember, it will become assignment.
Hey,
Yes. What did I say about prevalence? Distribution. Interrelation. But this is what I'm talking about prevalence first. What did I say about prevalence last time? So when I ask you what the prevalence in is,
a disease or a condition is increasing.
please come again. I couldn't hear you.
The rate, for instance, those of us in the hospital, if they say the prevalence of, let's say, maternal mortality, that is how, like how far it's gotten to, as to each rate of going up. Is it going up or, I don't know whether I'm on the right track.
You're on the wrong path. Let somebody rescue you and bring you back to the right path.
Okay,
Please, somebody to rescue me.
Yes.
I also know that with prevalence,
you sort of divide the number of the cases that has occurred in a given time over the population to get a prevalence.
Okay, this one there, you are on the right path. So, Esther, have you seen what he was saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I saw somebody raised up a hand, but the person picked the hand out again.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I was the one.
Yeah, so prevalence is
The
number of cases in a particular area compared to the population.
The number of cases in particular area compared to the total population in that area.
Yes, please.
Any other?
Is
Recording stop. This is being recorded. Let me continue since you can. So we talk about the service. So we use quantitative designs and also involve selection of representatives. Sorry, I'm teaching. I'm in the office. I'm teaching. Okay. I'm teaching now. Yeah, hello, sorry about that. So we are saying that surveys also use quantitative designs and involve selection of representative samples of individuals from known populations. So for example, if I want to know the kind of food that you like in Radford University when you are in the school, not your individual homes, because individual homes, the choice of food is different. But when all of us converge at Radford University, if I want to test the kind of food that students like, I can just go with a simple survey. If a paper design all the kind of food that we have there, and ask students which one you prefer, just stick. So at the end of the day, I will be able to identify the kind of food students like when they are on Radford University. So if I want to engage in catering activities, I have identified the popular food that students like, and therefore I'm going to prepare those food and sell in that area. So it is easier for you, especially if you want to get some of this, just obtain information about maybe the disease in that particular. For example, you come and do your test, maybe hepatitis in a school or community. Then you can define that this is the prevalence within that population. When you take the total number, how many of the people within that particular total population that have the disease condition. So we can use surveys to do that. If you want to also find out about the disease that is common among students, you can also list them and allow them to state all of those disease conditions. And by the time we are done, you can identify probably malaria is the highest, or you can look at any other condition that they have actually mentioned. So it is easily done to get your service pass. Sometimes we will do that to get first-hand information so that we can come also with intervention in that particular area. For example, I can also go out, design, ask people what kind of intervention do they want us to put in place to control the COVID. So going the majority of the things that people are suggesting, then when we come back, we can roll out that particular intervention, and also considering how feasible that particular intervention will be. And then some of the advantages, we have mentioned them, that survey generates a large amount of data. You have to generate large amount of data. Other than that, you'll be correct, committing some error that we call type 1 and type 2 error, because you need a large size of numbers to be able to determine that. Other than that, you also commit some errors that we discussed previously. They also provide simple and straightforward approach to the study of the problem that you are interested. You can actually identify the people, the number, so that you can quickly identify what kind of intervention, including the number of people that are involved. Reliability is more straightforward because the questions are standardized, carefully worded, and then piloted prior to the data collection. So most of the surveys that we do, you must go ahead and pilot the question or the questionnaire. So your piloting will give you ideas that, oh, the problems that are likely to surface, they can be resolved adequately before the data collection itself begins. So it is always important that you also conduct pilot studies when you want to do surveys. Because when you're able to do the piloting, you can actually ratify some of the challenges that you are likely to face when you go out to collect data. So it is always important to also do that. But they also have some disadvantages. If you look at surveys generally, it also has certain disadvantages. One, data are affected by the characteristics of participants. If people are they knowledgeable about it, memory, can they recollection, or can they recollect the things that has happened to them some few months or years back, the experience of them. So it's also affected by the knowledge of the people, ability to recollect, and the memory to remember, and all those things. Then social desirability, response biases is also high, because people want to respond in a way that they'll please you. And sometimes you go and conduct research, people are engaging in negative activities, but when they ask them, they will say no, so that they want what? That's social desirable from you. They want you to see them as nice people outside. Meanwhile, inwardly, what they are doing is worse. So that can also give you unreflective. That can be unreflective for the behavior of the people that you are trying to collect data from. So it is always a challenge when you are doing service. When I'm doing service now in this, among my students here, or this Zoom meeting now, and I ask people who have, let's say, guys who have two or both men and women, those who have more than one sexual partner now, everybody will say, no, I don't, because they want to appear nice before me. Meanwhile, there are people who have more than one sexual partner here, and we all know the implications of that. But because they want to stay, they want to be in your good groups, they won't disclose all of those things to you. They want to appear nice, and eventually you miss what exactly you are looking for in that particular population. Survey questions may be what? Misunderstood. Sometimes when you ask questions and the people misunderstood the question, they also give you the answers that they think are correct, especially when you are posting the questionnaire to them to respond to. It is always a challenge. So sometimes when they don't understand the questions, that also affects what? The response of the question. So it is always important that you also identify all of those things and try as much as possible to bring an intervention to them. Then what we want to start today is how to do the questionnaire. We have seen a lot of questionnaire before, and then people have engaged you. Some of you have answered some questionnaire in the past, and it is a form of this very often, sometimes really. So all of these are part of the way you design your questionnaire, especially if you want to do ranking and all that. So basically we are saying that it's a data collection instrument consisting of what? Closed-ended and or open-ended questions. But most of the time when you look at questionnaires, they are made up of what? They are made up of closed-ended questions. That's why we are giving options, yes or no, often, really, sometimes, very often. So you have limited the options of the people, so they can only select one and move on. Or sometimes you allow them to give you multiple responses. In some cases, that is also allowed. However, when you talk about open-ended questions, in that case, you just ask the question and leave the place open, and you're allowing the responders to provide you answers in that area. To provide you answers in that area. And most of the time, these are used, especially when you are, people want to use sometimes want to have some qualitative aspect in that particular, how do you call it? Quantitative study. Or sometimes you do not want to limit people. You want to have virgin ideas or the new ideas coming from people to add up to what you are doing. You also ask open-ended questions so that you can open the door for people to respond the way they think, so that eventually yourself you go and sample what you are looking for from the views that they have expressed. The choice of questions also depend on the purpose of your research. If you are conducting a research in maternal mortality, your questions are normally based around maternal mortality. If you are conducting on pregnancy, questions are based on pregnancy. If you are looking at HIV, questions are also based on HIV. If you are looking at hepatitis B, questions are also surrounded that. However, there's something that is common that is run through among all of them, or that's run through all of them, is that you must first have what? Demographic characteristics. These are independent variables that you are going to use to measure what? The dependent variable. How people who have higher education, how do they react to what? HIV. Are they likely to test more than people who are not? So these are factors that are very important. They become what? Independent variables in your study, as we have looked at last semester. So you must also look at all of this as part of your questions. Even though we are saying that the questions should be based on the area or whatever you are conducting the research in, we are also saying that the demographic characteristics are very important. Your sex, your age, your religion, your ethnic group, your educational level, employment, marital status, and all of this. All of these play a very important role in determining how people adhere to, or how people go about their services and all that. So all of these are also part of it.
Petro.
The main purpose of questionnaire. The main purpose of a questionnaire is to communicate with the respondent. So your questionnaire, the main idea is what? Your questionnaire should be able to what? Communicate with whoever is going to answer the question. So if your questionnaire is not capable of doing that, then you are not likely to get the answers that you want. So your questionnaire, the first and foremost thing is that it should be in position to communicate effectively with your responders. That is very important. So your questionnaire should be able to do that. So you must, because you are not going to be there to tell the people that this is what I want or this is what I'm asking, you must always have your questionnaire clearly stated, so that the person who is reading or whoever is going to know that this is what exactly you are looking for. And that also helps them to limit the errors that you are likely to find in the answers that are provided for you. The dichotomous question is generally yes and no, close-ended question. This question is generally used in case of what? Need for basic validation. You want to validate the information, so you ask yes or no question. So it is the easiest form of what? Questionnaire that you can see. You either go for yes or you either go for what? No. If you want to validate some information that you want to, for example, you want to know what is your first point of contact when you are sick. Is it health facility or traditional medical practitioners? So the person have to choose one, or you can just ask your first point of contact when you are sick is what? Public health facility, yes or no? If the people, all of them say yes, then you have achieved what? That validity you want to see. If they also say no, you have achieved what? The validity that you want to see, or you want to know the first point of contact when people are sick. So that can also help you to do that. Then the second one that you can also see is the multiple choice questions, just like our exam that we write, the objective part. So multiple choice questions are also close-ended questions, type in which a responder has to select one single select multiple choice question, or many multi-select multiple choice questions responses from a given list of options. I alluded to this in my last explanation, saying that In some cases, you limit the options of your respondents, that you are supposed to pick only one answer. But in some cases, you give them opportunity to select even 2 or 3 answers for you. So if you said that they should select one option, that's what we refer to as a single select multiple choice question. However, if you are looking for more than one respond, then we say you are doing what? Multi-select multiple choice questions. So in some questionnaires you see, select more than what? One options. So you want to see the popular ones that people choose, so that you can, at the end of the day, you can rank that, 55% say this, then followed by 40% of this or 30% of this. So you can see how important, or those ones that are the priority of your respondents. So you can also do that by asking them to select more than one option. So the multiple choice question is also consisted of what? An incomplete stem. That's the question. Right answer or answers, incorrect answers, close alternative, or distracted. All of these are added to the options and allowed the respondents to choose one of them. Not all questions would have all the above, and these guidelines can be used as deemed fit or that best matches the expected outcome of the question. So sometimes they are matched with other wrong answers, and then you are allowed to choose one from them. So you are giving, for example, somebody is asking question, diabetes is caused by what? Is it by witches, or is basically about lifestyle diseases? So you can actually even add others, either from lack of exercise and all that. So people will select all of that, apply. Then you are doing what? Multiple choice. But if it has to do with a single choice, you just give them and limit them to choose only one of them. So that is also something that you can actually look at. So we are about to go off, then we can log back.
Okay, sir.